Hello, students. I'm only going to do two poems for you this week. The Deshpande poem, Amor Fati, is going to be posted as sort of a bonus poem, but because our week was cut short, you are not required to read that. You are also not required to do a small writing exercise for this week, though you should note that it would have covered rhyme. So if that's something that you'd like to practice, let me know. I'll post the exercise anyway, but if I do, it is optional. So here are two sonnets by Carrie Jarrell. The first is The Dollar Dance. Once you crashed a former flame's reception and shelled out $50 to his wife's horror to make him squirm to sticks. For richer or poorer, you rocked that party with your indiscretion and found yourself blacklisted by every bride in town as bitch, slut, thug in 3-inch heels, the stuff of beauty parlor legends. Appeals made by your mother to apologize. Sue Grady's son will never call you now, were met with looks as cold as frozen cake. 5 years and one fiance later, you hope you've been forgiven. Could the crowd allow you one dance for cash to Mr. Big's Just Take My Heart? Mom shakes her head and says, elope. So, this is the rare poem that is written in second person. So, you is the main character, the main actor in this poem, which puts the audience in the position of doing this work, doing this bad behavior. And bad behavior is something that we see in a lot of poetry, in a lot of fiction as well. Readers find bad behavior interesting. And this particular speaker crashed the reception, the wedding reception of their ex, and paid $50 to make that ex dance with the speaker, with the you, rather. I'm just going to refer to the you as the speaker because they are the main actor, and that's what I'm accustomed to. If you're not familiar with the dollar dance is a wedding tradition where the people getting married at their reception will uh, dance with other people for money. The other people will occasionally stuff dollar bills in their clothing. It's a little risque. But while they're dancing, people will stuff money in their clothes and then get a minute to dance with them or something like that. In other situations, and it looks like this might be one of those others, it's an auction where you bid on a song, and our speaker in this particular sonnet bid $50 for a song by Styx. So this was horrifying to the new bride, that the ex had to dance with this you. And so every other bride in town then blacklisted this person, called them bitch, slut, thug in 3-inch heels. And I presume this means that the you was not invited to any more wedding receptions, although they weren't invited to this one either, so I don't know why that would stop the you at all. The stuff of beauty parlor legends. So people were talking about this for a long time. The you's mother was upset because our you is never going to be called by Sue Grady's son, who we can assume is quite a catch if this is something to be shocked by. Were met with looks as cold as frozen cake. So our comparison here to frozen cake, not only frozen meaning cold, but the frozen cake gives us more wedding imagery. There is another tradition of freezing wedding cake and then consuming it on anniversaries or saving it for a particular anniversary. 5 years and one fiance later, you hope you've been forgiven. Could the crowd allow you one dance for cash to Mr. Big's Just Take My Heart? So our you wants their own dollar dance. And mom says, no, don't risk having the public wedding, the public reception. Instead, elope. So we have definitely a sonnet. 14 lines. Love is involved somehow. We have a volta, and the volta here, we could argue, isn't really a volta because nothing has changed. Time has passed, though, and our you hopes that they've been forgiven, so they hope that something has changed. But mom says no, nothing has changed, just elope. All right, next up, let's take a look at the ring. These days, you don't just buy a solitaire. You look for flaws with magnifying loops, check color grades, make setting choices, flared four-prong cathedral, ridged contour, or flutes of baguette accents down the sides. The bands, once standard 14-karat gold, now come in weapons-grade titanium. It stands to reason, one would think, as rings become unbreakable, the bonds they represent might too. But every master jeweler knows about the unseen structural punishment gems undergo, the blades, the saws, the blows received on every face, the grinding hours it takes for shapes like teardrops, hearts, and flowers. So here we have 14 lines, we have a rhyme scheme, and the fact that it's about a ring might lead one to believe that this is about a wedding ring, so maybe there are hints of love involved. But what I'd like you to do is think about this particular sonnet. How does this work on the theme of love? And I'll come back to this and discuss it in a video again next week.